In 1963, a car was born that would change everything. Its name was the Aston Martin DB5. While other manufacturers played it safe, Aston Martin dared to build something the world had never seen. One look at the Aston Martin DB5 and you understood. This was not just a car. This was a statement. Sit inside a Aston Martin DB5 and the outside world disappears. Only the road matters. A 4.0 L straight-six engine, 282 horsepower, and a body that made grown men stop and stare. James Bond drove one. The world has never forgotten. This is the story of the Aston Martin DB5, one of the greatest automobiles ever built. Welcome to the world of the Aston Martin DB5, a world where every detail tells a story. The story begins in England, where Aston Martin had a dream that others called impossible. The engineers who designed the Aston Martin DB5 were obsessed with one thing: perfection. The Aston Martin DB5 was not designed by committee. It was designed by people who loved driving. Under the skin, the Aston Martin DB5 was revolutionary. The 4.0 L straight-six engine changed everything. When the Aston Martin DB5 debuted at the motor show, the crowd fell silent. Then they erupted. The first production Aston Martin DB5s rolled off the line in 1963, each one built by hand. Journalists who drove the Aston Martin DB5 for the first time wrote the same thing: this car is alive. The Aston Martin factory worked around the clock. The world was waiting for the Aston Martin DB5. Every curve of the Aston Martin DB5 was calculated, not guessed. The result was automotive poetry. On the road, the Aston Martin DB5 was untouchable. Nothing at this price could keep up. The Aston Martin DB5 attracted the world's most discerning drivers. They knew what they were looking at. Racing drivers tested the Aston Martin DB5 and reported back, "This is a weapon disguised as a road car." The Aston Martin DB5 competed against the Ferrari 330 GT. The rivalry defined an era. Hollywood discovered the Aston Martin DB5. Film stars lined up. The waiting list stretched for years. Motoring journalists called the Aston Martin DB5 a benchmark. Car and driver said it set the standard. The Aston Martin DB5 appeared in films, on television, in fashion shoots. It became a cultural symbol. At Le Mans, the Aston Martin DB5 proved itself in competition. The results were extraordinary. The James Bond's Goldfinger 1964, a moment that defined the Aston Martin DB5's legend forever. Buyers waited months, sometimes years. The Aston Martin factory could not build Aston Martin DB5s fast enough. In silver birch or British racing green, the Aston Martin DB5 was magnificent. Every color suited this body perfectly. The Connolly leather interior, the analog instruments, the perfect driving position. Under the hood, a 4.0 L straight-six producing 282 horsepower. In 1963, that number was extraordinary. The engineers at Aston Martin chose every component with care. Nothing was there by accident. The Aston Martin DB5 weighed just 1,466 kilograms. Light, agile, and alive in a way heavier cars never are. Top speed, 148 miles per hour. In 1963, only a handful of cars on Earth could match that. The aluminum body was hand-formed by craftsmen who had spent decades learning their art. When production ended, the world mourned. There would never be another Aston Martin DB5 like this. The Aston Martin DB5 became the car every serious collector wanted. Prices started climbing immediately. In the 1980s, collectors rediscovered the Aston Martin DB5. Values climbed, and never stopped. At auction, a perfect Aston Martin DB5 in original condition commands over $1.5 million. And climbing. The Aston Martin Museum in Newport Pagnell displays the complete Aston Martin DB5 lineage. Every model, every story. At Pebble Beach, a Aston Martin DB5 on the lawn stops time. People stand in silence, just looking. The serious collectors keep them original. Matching numbers, original paint, uncompromised. Only 1,063 Aston Martin DB5s were ever built. Each surviving example is a piece of history. Today, the Aston Martin DB5 is recognized as one of the great automotive achievements of the 1960s. Restoration specialists around the world dedicate their lives to keeping Aston Martin DB5s alive. Somewhere right now, a Aston Martin DB5 is being driven. Not displayed, not preserved, driven. Because that is what it was made for. The road, the corner, the moment when nothing else exists. The Aston Martin DB5, built in England, loved by the world, immortal. At classic car events, nothing draws a crowd like a Aston Martin DB5. It has this effect. It always has. The Aston Martin DB5 proved that a car can be more than transportation. It can be a work of art. 6 decades of admirers. 0 who regret the experience. The Aston Martin DB5 does this to people. The Aston Martin DB5, born in 1963, still the benchmark, still the dream, still alive. Some cars are fast. Some cars are beautiful. The Aston Martin DB5 was both. It will never be forgotten.